Hi, dear boys. I just realized that I haven't worked out the MC questions on chapter 20 for you. So let's do this video and hope that this will help you a little bit with your test and your final exam. Let's begin with question number 1. You have a table and I've already labeled the components there, starting with demand deposit, which is DD. This component is in your M1. And next we have the M2, M3, etc. Now the question focuses on the money supply M1 and M2. So M1 consists of CC plus DD, which I already put it here. And that means adding the first item on the list, 9, and then plus CC, you have 9 plus 3 equals to 12. And I can cross out C and D right away. The second last item on the list, you have total issues of legal tender. That means that is your MO, your monetary base. But we don't need that here. We need M2. So M2, I need to add the savings deposit. I need the deposit with the licensed bank, and that is item 2 and item 4. And I add on to 12, 5, and 2, and therefore I have 19, and the answer is A. Now, question 2. The money supply M2 in Hong Kong will increase if A, somebody withdraws 10,000 from his savings account with a licensed bank and hold this as cash. Now M2 drops, but the money is now as cash, currency in circulation. So the M2 goes to M1, and since M2 includes M1, and therefore there's no change at all. Option B, somebody deposit $1,000 cash in his current account with a licensed bank. So this one is moving money from CC to DD, and no change in M1 and no change in M2. C, somebody transferred $20,000 from savings account to his current account with a licensed bank. Here, M2 drops, but then it increased again, right? Savings to his current. So once again, there's no change. And finally, somebody transferred $5,000 for a time deposit account with a depositing companies. Now this one is M3 to the current account in a licensed bank. That means M2. The person is moving money from M3 to M2. M3 won't change because you have an increase in M2, a drop in M3. They offset each other, but you have an increase in M2, and therefore the answer is D. Okay, question number 3. This is the type of very troublesome question. Mr. Chen withdraw, say 1,000 from his current account, and then he puts 500 as time deposit, blah, blah, blah. So let's go through this step by step. The first thing, withdraw 1,000 from his current account. Okay, that means your M1, right? DD, oh, he didn't say from which source, where is demand, license bank or whatever. But never mind, it was changing from DD to CC, right? From DD to CC. So your DD drops by 1,000, and then your CC increased by 1,000, and it offsets each other. So this is the this part, and there will be no change in M2 and M3 because M1 offsets itself out. Second part, he then puts 500 as time deposit in a restricted license bank, and therefore you have an increase in M3, but a drop in M1. Now a drop in M1 means a drop in M2, right? And an increase in M3. So eventually the number offsets each other again. And finally, and the remaining 500 as savings deposit in a licensed bank. So you still have this person, Mr. Chen, still have money in his cash. I mean, so the remaining 500 he now puts into the savings deposit with license bank, and therefore the first thing is 500 cash will be gone. Your M1 will drop by 500, and then you have 500 increase in M2. Okay, but the thing is, well, your M1 drops, so your M2 drops as well, and the number cancels out once again. All right, vertically adding all up, you have M1 offset 0, and then minus 500, total minus 1000. And M2, you have minus 500, and then plus and minus 500, which offsets itself. And therefore, M2, you have minus 500. And M3, no change. And therefore, the answer is both M1 and M2 decrease. Number 4, Miss Lee withdrew $50 from his time deposit with a restricted license bank. So the first thing is we have minus 50. Okay, now that money becomes cash, and therefore we have an increase in M1 by 50, and at the same time increase in M2 by 50. Since you have an increase in M1 and M2, and that one offset that M3. Okay, what else? She then remit $10 overseas. Now remit $10 overseas, that means minus 10 in M1, minus 10 in M2, and minus 10 in M3, because M3 includes M2 and M2 includes M1. And finally, what else? She deposit 10,000 as time deposit with a license bank and hold the remain as cash. Okay, so finally, she puts $10 as deposit. So here you have plus, and then you have another plus. Okay, so what is going to happen? Right, M1 will increase. You have a plus 50 minus, and then M2 you have a plus, M3 you have a strange, it's wrong. Let's see, M3 withdraws. Oh, sorry. Cancel this one. No, this is negative 50. This is negative 50. Oops, this is negative 50. Okay, this is negative 50. All right, money goes to that. So we have a drop in M3, and this one is a plus, increase and decrease. Okay. Number 5, below is the balance sheet of a banking system. Suppose the bank has excess reserve of 500, and therefore we can immediately calculate the required reserve to be 1,000. I have 1,500 minus 500, and we have this 1,000 here. Our deposit is 5,000. That means my R is 0.2. And the money maximum banking multiplier will be 5. So what else do we need to know? Well, let's check out which of the following is correct. The required reserve ratio is 20%. That is absolutely right. So number 1 is correct. So I can cross out this 2. And the actual banking multiplier is 5. That is incorrect. Actual banking multiplier is your reserved over deposit. That means 1,500 over 5,000, and that cannot be 5. Okay, so 2 is dead. Therefore, I have only 1, 3, 4. 3, the maximum possible amount of deposit is, okay, you have reserve as 1,500. times the maximum banking multiplier 1 over R, you have 7500. And number 3 is correct. The money supply is 6,000 million. You have CC. CC, do we have CC here? Oh, here. I omitted this part, sorry. CC is 1,000. And then my DD is here, 5,000. So total we have 6,000. Correct. Okay, now the internet connection is a little bit unstable, so I will separate them one by one.